Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, please lead us from unreal to the reality, ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, today I know it is a very interesting topic. Can I be spiritual and yet successful? This is one of the greatest dilemma, one of the big dilemma with many of our devotees or the spiritual aspirants. Or the broad canvas, there are three type of people, three categories. A category of people who are spiritual in nature, they are not bothered about the world, universe, and its success because any of it is a momentary or whatever so they want to go or they want to progress in spiritual life. For such people also no issues at all. And there are extreme opposite other class of people where they also don't have any problem or concern or issue that they would like to enjoy the world and its objects. Well, it has got a problems or likes and dislikes and happiness and sorrow. Well, all that fine, but we want to live in the world and we want to enjoy in the world. We want to enjoy the world. So even they also do not have any problem. But in between, quite a few people or quite a good amount of people are there. They would like to practice spiritual disciplines. They would like to progress in the spiritual life. They want to progress spiritually, but at the same time, maybe as a part of desire or as a part of necessity or whatever it may be, they would like to stay in the world. They would like to uh, experience the world and its objects. Moreover, they would like to be a successful person, maybe in the field of art, in the field of business, or in the field of any company, any field, probably for that matter, they would like to become a successful people. So for them, there will be always constant drift. Constant drift will be there. How can I be successful and at the same time can I be spiritual? So they will be oscillating between the external accomplishments, worldly progress, and also meditation or on the spirituality. So probably the people who have got this oscillation between these two, for them, this can be a thought process. Because see, when I try to become spiritual, when I would like to become spiritual, generally what we do, we try to meditate, we try to think about God, we try to think about self or consciousness. So there is a prerequisite or there is a hidden prerequisite as taught by some gurus or by scriptures that you try to neglect the world, negate the world, or leave the world. So that is one of the interesting point which can be a problem or a problem concern for many people. But Swami Vivekananda tells very beautifully. I think we have discussed this in the Saturday lectures as a part of Swami Vivekananda's Gnana Yoga, that you need not to renounce the world. The scriptures also are not saying that for everyone you have to renounce. You have to renounce the clingingness to the world and its objects. You can be in the house, you can build house, you can have a family life, you can earn money, you can also achieve for the better progress, but don't cling to objects, don't cling to the world, Don't cling to the what do you say, sense gratifications or whatever. So this is what very important point to be noted. So one can be successful in the physical endeavor or in this worldly endeavors, and but still he or she can be successful. If you ask, can it be? I say yes. And also, success is not an event; it is a thought process. This is also very very important point we have to understand. Success is not an event; it is a thought process. Now, by being spiritual, how can I be successful? How the spirituality can help me to be successful? There are two types of views. One is, we are using in the present day, many people they would like to go to meditation, they would like to go to Himalayas, they would like to do yoga. Why? Because it helps to be healthy. It helps us to have a peace of mind. It helps us to go further in our mundane life. This is one set of people. The other set of people is there, they use this world, they use these establishments to be a contributor personality as well as to go further to progress in the spiritual life. So though it looks very simple or similar, but there is a lot of difference between these two. So the second option should be our selection. We should use this world, we should use this universe, we should use this every situation to be a contributor personality and also to manifest the divinity. How? Success starts with every one of us actually. If I have to be successful, what is the first step? That I should have an intense desire to be successful in whatever walk of life or the phase of life or in the part of life. So the success starts with me. So the possibilities and the strength also has to manifest from me. That is what we call God, our self, our consciousness. We are already perfect, and the goal is to manifest that perfection which is already in man. So, similarly, when we say we are self, we are consciousness, we are divine, when we say that means it is a science of infinite possibilities. I can manifest the divinity through willpower, through art, through creativity, through contribution, or by becoming the contributor personality. I can manifest the divinity more and more, then I can experience that self more and more. Unfortunately, many people they do not know. That's why being spiritual, one can be successful. So, at the core, in the core of your heart or in the core of your personality, who are you? First, you have to understand. That is, we are self, not the body, not the mind, not the thoughts, not the feelings, nor the emotions even. So when you know who are you, then everything becomes possible. If you see the life of Buddha, the life of Jesus Christ, the life of Swami Vivekananda, and there are so many people who became aware of themselves and they became the successful people in the world. Why? Because the moment you understand who are you, then you will start observing the world, observing the situation, witnessing the people objectively, not subjectively. That's the one thing. And when you start understanding that you are the self, and when you start working, things look different for you. What is right, what is wrong, you'll be able to understand properly. And also, what happens once you become spiritual, then what happens? There will be less resistance actually. When you got more worldly desires, worldly ambitions, yes, it is right that I'm not saying no, but what happens? That will act as a propelling force, that will act as a fuel for us to go further, to go forward, to face the difficulties, to face the challenges, to face the adverse circumstances and keep going. This is what the general fact or general idea. But Yes, of course, this will act as a fuel for us to go forward. This will act as energy to go forward. But at the same time, it also restricts us, it limits us. So, the desires will act as if energy, at the same time, it limits us. Instead of that, if you can start thinking you are the self, and when you are trying to manifest the divinity, when you are trying to reach your ambitions, goals, or whatever, then your energy can flow more, less resistance, less limitations, and more flow of energy, and more you get broader. I'll give an example for this statement, probably you need some explanation. When you are thinking that you are a body, the demons thought, and the Rakshasas in mythologies, Indian mythology, we see, they all thought that body is real and I am the body. Most of them, if not all. What happened? Then they built their body nicely. They had a good muscular power, and they used that muscular power to, what you say, conquer the people, conquer the world, conquer the empires by ethical or unethical means. They had a lot of energy, they had a lot of force, they had a lot of success, no time, no doubt, but it was time, it was limited, and it was destructive in nature. So in the gross level, the flow of energy will be easy, but again, it has got limited energy. We don't understand. Now, when you go a little further, the more and more the personality gets refined, and you are ethical, and you are moral, and you are good, and you live at the level of ideas. You live at the level of thoughts, mind, at the level of mind. Then when you start working, so basically your consciousness has been aroused from physical level to mental level. So then what happens? Your acting becomes more because you got a lot of energy, and the less resistance and the flow of energy will be much more. That's what we see in the scientists, or that's what we see in the founders. A founder of a company, he had some thought. The thought was translated into action. This is the power of thought, actually. Why, what, how, what can I do? How can I do? Even simple thoughts with our day-to-day things, then we can become the contributor personalities, we can be successful people. That is the role of thought and the great efficacy of thought. When you think that we are a self, then what happens? The flow of energy is much more, 100,000 times more. No resistance and signs of infinite possibilities. Already I told, divinity means then you can achieve anything and everything. That is the reason Swami Vivekananda tells very beautifully. What is that? Teach the Vedanta. Teach the Vedanta for the people. Then what happens? The power will come. Teach yourself, teach everyone his real nature. Call upon the sleeping soul and see how it awakes. Power will come, glory will come, goodness will come, purity will come, everything that is excellent will come when this sleeping soul is roused to self conscious activity. What a magnanimous statement. What a emphatic and great statement, which has been experienced by Swamiji himself, Swami Vivekananda himself. So when you awaken yourself, what happens? Power will come, glory will come, goodness will come, purity will come, and everything that is excellent will come. So this can be one of the best example, best theory for all of us to understand that we can be spiritual and we can be successful also. And now, one more important thing is, what is this spiritual actually? What is this spirituality? Spirituality or spirituality comes from the word, Latin word actually. It is a spiritus. Spiritus means what? It is a breath. Means it is a energy. It is it includes inspire, conspire or aspire, which are just basically togetherness. So it is basically breath. It is energy. That's what spirituality means. Spirit means according to the Latin word. And the energy is what? That consciousness or the self higher aptitude has been given from the Vedanta. So that means what? Unlock your potentiality, unlock your hidden energy which is there in you already. And if you see in the Lalita Sahasranama, Icha Shakti, Gnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupini, we worship the mother as the embodiment of three powers: Icha Shakti, willpower; Gnana Shakti, the power of knowledge; and Kriya Shakti, the power of action. So the divinity can be manifested in these three streams by which one can be successful. So unlock your creativity, unlock your potentiality, unlock your hidden talents. To know that, first and foremost, as Vedanta says that, try to know who are you or who am I. Now, this who am I can be understood from two, three angles. One is from Vedantic angle or spiritual angle. Who am I? The moment when you understand that I am that self, I am that consciousness, means which is I am ancient and I am indestructible. The fear of death, the fear of disease, the fear of failure, all these things will vanish in the air. Then no, what you say, inferiority complex at all. With feeling of completeness, with feeling of zest and energy, one can work. And from psychological angle, if you see, who am I? What does it mean actually? Who am I means know your strength and know your weakness. Knowing oneself, one's strength and knowing one's weakness is also very, very important in life. By that, I can take care of myself. I can achieve many things and I can avoid many things. This will help for personal growth and this will help for family growth. This will help to maintain relationships. This will help to grow professionally. Just I will take one example. Some of us, we have got a problem of short temper. So when you know that, the moment you become aware that I have got a short temper, so much progression has been done in that avoiding it. So you are aware of that, the problem that or the deficiency or the weakness of the short temper. Then the second step is what? Accept it. Yes, I've got a problem or what a concern that I have got a short temper. The moment you accept, then 40 to 50% of your progress is being done. Okay, then I've got a short temper. Then how to control it? By antidote. What is antidote? By patience. By patience, by love, by inclusiveness or whatever. So like this, one can go. So who am I from psychological angle? Know your strength and know your weakness. That's what we can see in the KFC founder actually. So KFC founder at the age of 60, probably 50 or 60, he went into depression. And by already in the age of 20 itself, he had lost, he had a married and he had a divorce, or wife left. I think I have heard that. I'm not very sure about this. And son or daughter was there and they also left because of his, poverty. He was working in a hotel, etc., etc. Then, when at the age of 50 or 60 or whatever, the moment when he understood that he can make the better soup, chicken soup, then that opened a lot of gates for him. Then he started working. Then slowly, slowly, he found his own recipes. And now, whatever today, millions of dollars transaction, the KFC, that's what. So that Colonel Sandur understood what is his strength. So understanding one's strength and weakness is very important to be successful. To have to understand oneself, to understand one's strength and successful, you need a clarity of mind. And the moment when you start thinking you are the self and not the body and mind, then you can be much more clear. You will have a lot of clarity. You will have a objective thinking, not the subjective thinking. Your mind is not colored basically. And also, the more and more you become spiritual, what happens actually? It is very interesting that there will be less distractions. Why? Your mind is concentrated. When your mind is concentrated, no diversions, no distractions, then the flow of energy, the success will be much more easy. And if you see in the any people of success, one is they maintain their routine and they maintain the perseverance early to bed and early to rise. They will have, and they will be passionate, and they will have a perseverance in following these things. This is also very, very important thing. Now, so basically, conscious centered life, God centered life is what the spirituality, we know that. Now, when we have we are thinking that we are self or consciousness, as I said already, the flow of energy will be very clear, and it is in abundance, and we can do many things actually. Why? Because the source of all the creation is what is pure consciousness. So potentially seeking expression from the unmanifest to manifest, that's what you say. So when we experience as a self or a consciousness, then what happens? Less restraints and the maximum flow of energy. So success becomes a cakewalk for such people. Now, the one more thing is, as I already told, desire, we all think that it is a energy or a fuel which will help us to go further. That is true. But being desireless or thinking that I am self and going beyond this time and space causation, going beyond this matter and mind, what happens? I can enjoy the world, I can experience the world in the best sense. Swami Vivekananda tells this very beautifully. In one of the plays, he mentions to a foreigner, I know better than you how to squeeze the orange. What does it mean? Means I know, because I being a Vedantin, I know how can I experience the highest bliss, highest happiness, staying in this world, staying in the, in the as a human. So that's what Vedanta teaches. And one more two or three pragmatic or practical hints or tips I would like to give is, the other important is what? Attitude. We all have to work. We are all busy, and we have to spend a lot of time and energy in our work, and half of our day, everyday time goes into different types of works. Fine. Now, what should be our attitude towards work? This makes a lot of difference, though it looks simple, but it makes a lot of difference. One is that if you ask, why are you working? There's a beautiful story that a big temple was being constructed in a village. So there, a few sculptors were working. Then just a passerby asked first sculptor, "Oh my dear, why are you doing this work?" Immediately said, "Oh, can't you see that? What do you say? I am doing a sculpting work." Fine. Why are you doing it? Oh, because it is my bread and butter. I have to earn money, to take care of myself and to take care of my family. I have to feed my family, and I have to, what do you say, provide all the necessities. That is the reason I am working. So he is working, why? Just to have to earn the bread and butter, to have his family livelihood, or to have his livelihood, to support his family. This is what most of the people think with respect to work. But the people who have created success, who have created wonders, who have been the part of Guinness record, they will never think this. This is a very important point we have to understand. Then how do they think? Second, the passerby, he went further, few meters, 100 or 200 meters. Again, someone were doing some sculpting work. One more sculptor. He asked, "Oh, my dear, why are you doing this work?" He said, "Oh, I love this work. I'm passionate about this sculpting, so I'm doing this work." See, he's also paid, and because of his payment, he's taking care of his life or his family, livelihood, all these things, fine. But his attitude, his intention behind the work is what? Because I love it, I am passionate about it. So most of the successful people comes in this category. Steve Jobs you take, or Colonel Sanders you take, or even any sports people, or film actors, or artists, musicians. Hours together they sit and practice all these things. How they are able to do? And for not one day, 2 day, for months and for years they do, because they are passionate about it. Thomas Alva Edison, who found out this light, he makes a beautiful statement. When I tried thousand times, I couldn't find, but I was not despair. I was not morose. I was not unhappy. Instead, I found by these ways, by thousand ways trying, one cannot find. So, thousand first time when I made an attempt, I found, I discovered, I invented the bulb, which we are all using today. You see the amount of perseverance, amount of patience, how he got this patience, how he got this perseverance, because of this passion. The more and more we are passionate towards our goals, towards reaching our ambitions, then we can be successful people. That's what, when you leave at the level of mind or thoughts or ideas, this becomes possible. Then other is, then this fellow, he went further few more meters, and one more sculptor was doing the sculpting, and the passerby person, he asked the sculptor, why are you doing this work, my dear? He said, look, the village chief wants to build a temple, which is a place of which can be which can become a place of pilgrimage, which can become the place of peace. Many people will come and experience the peace, and they will offer their prayers, and they will get the blessings of the God. And it can also economic empowerment, social empowerment, cultural empowerment. Many things can happen from temple. So such a big work, such a beautiful work has been taken care by our village chief. So I am trying to be the part of this magnanimous work, good work, or you say service, whatever. See, if you see the first person who was the sculptor, all the three people are sculptors. The first person said, I am working because to earn my bread and butter. And the second sculptor said, oh, because I love this work, I am passionate about this, that's why I am. And the third person is saying that village chief is magnanimous in his approach, so he is trying to build the temple, which will be the whole city or the village, and nearby villages will be beneficial. So I am contributing my service. Now the attitude becomes higher and refiner. Your manifestation also becomes higher. That is what we call spirituality. All the greatest people, they worked so much. Day in and day out, they worked 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, and all. They didn't feel boredom. They didn't feel tired. They didn't feel exhausted mostly. And but we say, oh, we can't work like that. Why they were able to work? Because they had a passion, and they had a higher values, they had a higher attitudes, they had a higher, what you say, goals. As a result, all of them made them to work. When Buddha, how much he worked. Swami Vivekananda, how much he worked. Jesus Christ, how much he worked. All the great people, they were all great karma yogins, man of selfless actions. This is what we can see. And Earl Nightingale, he makes a beautiful comment. We are all self made, but only the successful will admit it. We are all self made, but only successful people will admit it. What does it mean that? We are all that self consciousness, and we should be responsible about our actions, about our attitude, about our thinking. So that is a corollary is believe in your action, believe in yourself, which is nothing but self-confidence. So the corollary of this belief means you are the creator of your own destiny. So when you say that you try to experience that you are the self, what does it mean? That means take the responsibility of your actions and believe in your action and not in reaction. This is also very, very important. Believe in your action and not in the reactions. Whatever good work you try to do, there will be people who criticize you or your actions, who will undermine you and your actions, who will put down you or your actions or achievements. There is no end to it. So keep on performing the actions. Your actions you should tell who are you, not your reactions. There's a beautiful saying that a successful person spends 90% of his time in actions and 10% in reaction. Whereas a common folk, complaint mindset person, he spends 90% of his time in reaction and 10% of his time and energy in the action. This is what the difference between successful people and failure people or person. And so, so basically, it also involves or includes positive thinking. So we have to believe in action, not in the reaction. So when you are keep on doing the, when you are keep on performing the good actions, and when you progress slowly, slowly, people will accept, society will accept, everything, everyone will accept. If not, also you need not to bother too much. So here spirituality comes into your help, rescue. The more and more you meditate, the more and more you do self reflection, the more and more you are calm, the more and more you progress in spirituality, then you go beyond this criticisms and praises. When some people praise, immediately we get boosted and we go out of the way to help people or etc. And sometimes we may get into problem. And the same people, if they criticize us, our actions, then we go down, we feel depressed, we may stop our actions, we may stop our help. So oscillating between this type of dualities, lot of our time and energy keeps on going into waste, keeps on getting wasted. So if you are more and more spiritual, these oscillations, these emotional tribulations will reduce. So if you are being spiritual means what? You are self-responsible. You have to be self-responsible. So the success and failure is in our hands. Parents, I mean friends, relatives, family people, society, everyone, yes, they're responsible. They're all secondary and tertiary causes. But you are the first primary responsible for your success and for your failure. This is what, when you say that your spirit or yourself means, this is the underlying argument. And this is a very interesting story. Once, a person who was very bit cynical, he wanted to go and test Buddha, examine Buddha actually. So he took a small worm or insect and he had kept in one of his hand, and he took to Buddha. And before taking, he had decided, I will ask or I will test the Buddha that why something is there in my hand, whether it is alive or dead. If he says it is alive, then immediately I will press it and I will kill it. Then I will say, Buddha, you are wrong. And Buddha says that if it is dead, then I will leave it, I will let it free. Then I will try to prove the Buddha is wrong. So he's a very intelligent person. He was a bit cynical also. So he takes that worm in the hand, worm or small insect in the hand, and he says, oh, dear Buddha, people are saying that you are a great saint, spiritual personality, God, or whatever. Because many of us, we have got idea that if you're a spiritually advanced person, if you're a god or whatever so called, then godly man or saintly personality, then you should be able to have, you should be able to do some miracle. That is what the idea, unfortunately. So probably with that same mindset, he also has gone. He went and he approached, Sir, revered Sir, you are a great person itself. I have heard that. I'm happy to see you. I've got a question with you. Buddha said, okay, well, please ask the question. There is a creature, there is a something living being in my hand. Can you tell me whether it is living or dead? The whole, so many disciples are sitting and they're all watching and they're interested in knowing the answer. And this fellow is also interested what Buddha is going to tell, and I will try to prove him that he will be wrong. Because Buddha has to say the living creature, the worm or insect is living, then he will kill it immediately in no time. Or if he says it is dead, then he will let it free. That was his thinking. But Buddha, so beautifully, with smiling and peaceful face, peaceful mindset and face, he said, without any, I mean, yeah, emotional perturbations, he said, oh, that depends on you. So Buddha never said that the worm or insect is living or dead. He said, it depends on you. So this person took aback. He never expected this answer. Then he was astonished and he said, "Oh, dear Buddha, how did you understand? What made you to say this?" They said, look, there's an insect or a worm, something is in the environment. So if you press hard, then it will die. If you let it free, then it will go. So now the life of that insect is in your hands. Then that fellow understood the greatness of the Buddha, and he fell at his feet, and he sought pardon, he asked apology, and he asked forgiveness. And Buddha, of course, he forgave, no doubt, and he also became the disciple of Buddha. So, similarly, can I be happy? Can I be unhappy? Can I be peaceful? Can I be disturbed? These things, we all think most of the times, it depends on others. Yes, some part of time, yes, no doubt, but most of the time, it depends on us. Until otherwise we allow someone into our life, into our mind. If you don't allow someone's view, someone's arguments into our mind, into ourselves, then we can't get disturbed. So that's why we should be responsible for our actions and not reactions, not people's reactions. So if until otherwise you allow someone's comments into your mind, it cannot hurt you, it cannot disturb you. This is also very, very important. So being spiritual means what? Being self-responsible. So when you are being self-responsible means what? You are responsible for your actions. When you are responsible for your actions means what? You are responsible for your behavior. You are responsible for your commitment. You are responsible for your goals. You are responsible for your time spending. You are responsible for your quality of work also. Then what happens? Then the success will be yours. So spirituality means it is not going to Himalaya somewhere. It is also a thing, but it doesn't mean always that you should leave the home and earth. It should leave the world and leave the family and go into a dense forest or Himalayas and just sit close with a closed eyes and try to do pranayama or whatever. No. So experiencing the God, experiencing the self at any given point of time, in any place or in any area is what the spirituality. So that either you are a monk or a householder, whether you are a business person or whether you are a president, political entrepreneur, business entrepreneur, one can practice spirituality. So that's where the attitude comes into picture. So by studying Vedanta, by knowing who am I can be a better person. If I'm a cobbler, I can be the better cobbler. If I am a business entrepreneur, I can be the best business entrepreneur. If I am the politician, I can be the best politician. Not in cheating sense, I'm saying, in a constructive sense, I'm saying. So if celebrate in any field, art or science or music, I can be best person in that. So Vedanta means it is the science of reality. So Atman or Brahman or the consciousness means it is the science of infinite possibilities. The more and more we understand our nature, we can manifest that through actions, through our behaviors, through our aspirations, and we can be successful people. So, spirituality means not renouncing the world, renouncing the unreality, renouncing the lesser reality and hooking on to the highest reality is what the spirituality. So that is possible for everyone. So it is not only for Swami Vivekananda or Jesus Christ or Buddha, it is possible for every one of us. So this is what very, very important point. I think probably I'll give an example. I think Jim Carrey, I think is a Canadian American actor, I believe. He makes a note. Just I'm from his quotes. I'm giving the exact quotation from its excerpts. Quote: I understood suddenly how thought was just an illusory thing, and how thought is responsible for, if not all, most of the suffering we experience. How beautiful! And then I suddenly felt that I was looking at these thoughts at different perspective, and I thought, who is it that is aware that I am thinking? Suddenly, I was thrown into this expansive, amazing feeling of freedom from myself, from my problems. I saw that I was bigger than what I do, bigger than my body, everything and everyone. I was no longer a fragment of the universe, but I was the universe. Unquote. See how beautifully, how spirituality can help us to become a successful people. He's saying that he was suffering. He had some problems, he had suffering. But the moment when he understood intellectually that I am different from the thought, I am witnessing my thought. The moment when he understood that, when he got a conviction that I am experiencing the thought, I am witnessing the thought, that itself gave a tremendous confidence and tremendous positivity, and his suffering, as his experience of suffering came down to the larger extent. And afterwards, what he says, that I am no longer fragment of the universe, I was the universe, or I am the universe. Means again, I have become the, what's Brahman means, what Brihati means, it is the highest expansion. So he had so much expanded himself in the mentally or intellectually or emotionally and spiritually, he was able to do many things. So one can be spiritual and one can be successful in the worldly pursuits, but only thing that we should not guide by instincts. Instead of that, we should be guided by intelligence and we should be guided by intuition. But most of the times we are guided by instincts, and it thinks that it is an immediate success. No doubt it gives a immediate success, but it is a temporary success. From instinct, if you travel to intelligence, then you will get more success, longer success. And when you go to the intuition level, dhi we say, medha we say, when you go to the level of intuition, when you start working, you see things differently, you see the world and its problems differently, you see the situations differently, and you can be a contributor personality. I'm not saying that world will change, people will change in and around you, maybe or may not be, but still in spite of that, you can be peaceful, you can be happy, you can be contributor personality, and you can be positive, and you need not be negative or pessimistic. Instead of that, we can be optimistic. So this is the necessity and the role and the importance of the Vedanta or of the self knowledge. All the great people, they had to face a lot of problems, adverse circumstances compared to us, in abundance, but still in spite of that they were successful. Why? They manifested their divinity, they manifested their hidden potentialities or creativity. That is what all the spirituality. So the goal of religion is what? Religion helps us to manifest the perfection or manifest the divinity which is already in man, as told by Swami Vivekananda. So spirituality means what? Experiencing oneself, knowing oneself from the spiritual angle as I am the self, and from the psychological angle, knowing my strength and knowing my weakness, one can be a successful person. So may Swami Vivekananda bless all of us, so that let us try to understand who are we in our real nature, and let us manifest the divinity in different streams and be a successful people in the fields whichever we aspire, we desire, and more than that, we let us be a contributor personalities, so that we can try to help people serve the living gods. When we are doing serving, we are trying to wipe the tears of someone, fine. We are trying to feed some, by feeding some people, we are trying to eradicate hunger of a few individuals for some time. That's all fine. And apart from that, you are worshipping the god in living beings, means you are worshipping the living god. That is the greatest worship. That is the real worship as told by Swami Vivekananda. So let us think this type of thoughts more and more. Let us think, let us meditate, let us inculcate in our life, and let us try to put into practice. May Swami Vivekananda bless us and all to understand, experience, and put into practice. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.